What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match preview for Barcelona versus Valencia tomorrow at the Camp Nou. It's going to be an early kickoff. It's going to be a massive game. Barcelona are slowly but surely climbing up the top of La Liga, and this is another important game against another strong side in La Liga. Koeman and the squad really have to show for this game because it's not going to be an easy task. Before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button. Let's try to get to 150 likes on this video. It'd be very much appreciated, and of course, hit that subscribe button. And so we're going to start off by looking at the league table. Barcelona are now in 5th. We're in the Europa League places. Let's go. European football. Let's go. 12 games played, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses on 20 points. And if you look at our last 5 games, we finally won back-to-back for the first time in a while in La Liga. And if you look at our opponents, Valencia, they're all the way down in 12th, playing 13 games, 3 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses on 14 points. And if you look at their last 5 games, they're on 3 draws, 1 loss, and 1 win. But that 1 win came against Real Madrid, the 4-1, when Carlos Soler scored a hat-trick from the penalty spot. So of course, Valencia are one of the top sides in La Liga. They have a lot of quality players, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But the league table now, slowly but surely, is getting everyone in the right places of where they should be. You know, it's like coming to like a stability in a sort of way. But if you look closely at the league table, Barcelona have played 1 more game than Atletico, so we are still technically 9 points off the top of the league if Atletico win their game in hand. So there's still a long way to go for Barcelona. We have Valencia now as our main focus. Difficult side, one of the top sides in La Liga over the recent years. They've won La Liga before as well, and back I think in 2004 or something like that maybe. But there's going to be a massive game. They are a little bit weaker now because they had to sell a lot of their strong players due to the pandemic. Feel bad for them. But Barcelona now in 5th. I think Koeman and the squad's goal is to be at least in the top 3 by the end of the year. And by looking at the table, I think it's doable. Let's talk about Valencia. So we talked about how in their last 2 games they had 2 draws. So I don't know why we're coming up against these teams that are drawing a lot. But their last game was a 2-2 draw against Athletic Bilbao. Carlos Soler again scoring from the penalty spot. Manu Vallejo scoring for them. The line they use on the screen right now, Valencia have been using the 4-4-2 for like the past 6 years that I can remember. Dominique in goal, Vas the center mid playing right back, Gabriel, Dekabi, Lato the youth player, Yusuf Musa, I believe is how you say his name, or Musa, something like that. The young English international. He just signed a long-term contract not too long ago. Very good up-and-coming young talent. We have Carlos Soler in the midfield, of course. Gonzalo Guedes on the left. Then Manu Vallejo and Maxi Gomez up front. Now, of course, we've been linked to Maxi Gomez numerous amount of times. He was touted as the next Suarez. Of course, he's Uruguayan. Valencia, a little bit weaker than they usually are. They usually have Parejo in that midfield. They would have, Jose Guy in the left back. They would have maybe in the right mid spot. They would have Bass, and then they would have a proper right back at right back. But their team is weaker than it usually is over the recent years. But they still play good football. They have Garcia as their coach, a former Watford manager. Very strong team. Couldn't get it really over the line against Athletic Bilbao, though. And their game before that was a 0-0 draw away at Eibar. That line's on the screen right now. Very similar, only a couple changes from that lineup from the one against Athletic Bilbao. Angela comes in for Diakabe, and that's pretty much the only change in that lineup. So maybe they had rotation at center back. But we should expect a very similar lineup to the Athletic Bilbao and the Eibar matches. They only had 1 change, and it was at center back. Their bench also isn't their strongest in those 2 games. In the Eibar game, they had Kevin Guerrero on the bench, Diakabe, and that's pretty much it. And then on the bench against the Athletic Bilbao, and the only player they had on the bench for the Athletic Bilbao game was Denis Shirashev. So they're kind of getting hurt with a lot of injuries as well, and the squad isn't really that big, only having 8 players on the bench compared to other teams that have almost 10 to 12 players on the bench. So Valencia are very weak at the moment, but they still play good football. Garcia's got them playing well in their 4-4-2 system, low ball, counterattack, just like a lot of the big teams do. Very similar side to Atletico Madrid, I would say. So very difficult for Barcelona to break them down. They're going to come to the Camp Nou. I'd say they're going to probably sit back more than attack us, but they will get opportunities in this match for sure, and we're going to have to defend strong in order to counteract them. But Valencia, coming for the Camp Nou, it's going to be very difficult. Time to react to Koeman's press conference. He did his press conference this morning. We're going to read it and we're going to analyze what he said. Starts by saying, Valencia are a strong and competitive side. We have to be good to create. We always create opportunities, although we have to be more effective. We are generating chances, but we have to transfer them into goals. There's a lot of talk nowadays about the system, but every player's freedom on the pitch is also important. I think with freedom, we're more dangerous. The atmosphere has always been good, despite the games that we lost. The other day against La Real, we played well. We were able to press. We were good. We would always like to be like that, but it depends on the rivals. My stage in Valencia was not the best memory as a coach. I was probably wrong in some decisions. It's a complicated place where there's a lack of peace of mind to work. Araujo is a player who, despite his youth, is physically very strong and fast. He has a strong character. He drives and trains hard every single day. He He has to improve in certain things, ball circulation, vertical passes, but he has a great future ahead of him. The schedule is crazy. We have to see how we will solve this with so many games this season. I like to go game by game, but we also have to think about what we're going to do while we're traveling. So he talks about his time in Valencia, how it wasn't really the greatest during his coaching career, but he still won the Copa del Rey. Gives praise to Valencia, how strong of a side they are. Talks about the schedule, how absolutely ridiculous it is, how we're playing, games every other day. Absolutely crazy. Talks about Araujo, how he has a very, very bright future as a center back at the club. He needs to work on some things, his ball circulation and vertical passes, but he has a very, very bright future. And of course, talking about the game that we played against La Real, how quality we were in that first half, and hopefully that we can replicate it for the full match. He continues on by saying, lately Frankie de Jong has more freedom in his game. He's very fast with or without the ball. He is now taking more responsibilities. I like it, and he has to take more command for the future of this club. Riqui Puig, there are a lot of competition, but also possibility that in training he doesn't do enough for the coach to make the changes in the team. Pjanic, like everyone else, has to wait for his chance. He has a lot of competition and only 11 players can play. He has to prove that he's useful. Coutinho, I like him a lot. He has the quality in attack, and there are things that he learned from England and Bayern. He has some discomfort, and now he has to work. Rest for Dest. We know that Mingueza can play as a fullback, and it depends on the player's condition. Talking to the doctors, we will not take any risk. If we brought in Alini before Puig, it's because he's a left-footed player. Talked about Frankie de Jong, how his role changed at the club now. He's playing more of a box-to-box midfielder, and now he's improving. Talks about Riqui Puig, and he's basically saying the reason why we don't pick Riqui Puig is because he doesn't train properly. So, I don't know what else to say on that. We've talked about Riqui Puig enough. Rumors are always coming out, so I'm just going to leave that be. Talks about Pjanic, how Pjanic has been talking a lot in the press, how he's not getting game time. He says, look, he has to improve. I can only pick 11 players, and he has to prove that he's useful. Talks about Coutinho. He said that Coutinho has some discomfort. That's why he didn't play against La Real. So I'll probably expect him to be back against Valencia. Talks about Dest, how he says that he's not going to take any chances with him. If he's even a little bit of a niggle, if the doctors recommend that we don't start him, he won't start, and probably Mingueza will come in as a fullback. So that concluded Koeman's press conference. He was very, very angry when he was answering these questions too, I have to say. When he was answering questions about squad rotation, how we played, how we had to continue it, he seemed very angry. So hopefully this anger transforms into a win against Valencia. So following Koeman's press conference, usually the squad list will be released right after that, but since this is a home game, the squad list is usually released on the day of the game. But since this is an early kickoff, I have no idea when the squad is going to be announced. Probably will release it 12 hours before the game. That is my best guess. So I'm going to base my live predictions on the squad list against Real Sociedad. I think it's going to be very, very similar. I don't think there'll be, if not any changes to that. So if there's something last second, don't hinder me for it. So I'm going to do my live predictions based on the Real Sociedad squad list. Time to predict the lineups. We're going to start off with Ronald Koeman. I'm going to try to predict his lineup that he's going to go with in this match. I'm going to go for one change from the Real Sociedad match. That line's on the screen right now. It is in the 4-3-3. Of course, can be alter to the 4-2-3-1. I'm going with Ter Stegen in goal, Dest, Araujo, Mingueza, Jordi Alba at the back, Busquets, De Jong, Pedri in midfield, Griezmann, Messi, and Philippe Coutinho on the left. I do feel like he's going to bring in Coutinho in this match on the left wing. Maybe he'll take out Pedri and put Pedri out wide too. If this was in the 4-2-3-1 as well, you can maybe move Coutinho to Cam and then Pedri out left, Messi out right, and then Griezmann up top. Very, very interchangeable team. But I feel like he's going to go with this. Of course, the back five, very, very solid. He has to stick with that Araujo Mingueza partnership. We talked about that yesterday in the match analysis video. Like I said a lot of times, if it's not broken, don't need to fix it. Alba, of course, had the man of the match performance against Real Sociedad. He has to stay in. Dest, no other right back. Busi in the lone city end position was absolutely superb. He has to stay in there as well. De Jong on that right center mid spot was absolutely wonderful as well. Same with Pedri. It could maybe go with the same lineup. I'm not doubting that. Maybe he'll make two changes. Maybe he'll make one at center back, one up front. But I do not think he will stick with the same Real Sociedad lineup. After that second half performance wasn't, as good as the first half, I think he'll make maybe one or two changes. I've gone with Braithwaite out for Philippe Coutinho. I feel like he has to bring Coutinho in this match. Sat on the bench for the full 90 against Real Sociedad. I feel like he's going to bring him back in. Hopefully he brings him in midfield, more so than on the left wing. Because if it's on the left wing, I will be very disappointed. But this is the lineup I've gone with Koeman. I think this is hopefully this is wrong. But I feel like it is pretty accurate to what he's going to select. Let me know what you think Koeman's going to pick down in the comments below. Now I'm going to show you my lineup, what I would do if I was the Barcelona coach. I've gone with this lineup on the screen right now. I've gone with Ter Stegen in goal, Jordi Alba, Mingueza, Araujo, Dest, De Jong, Riqui Puig, and Pedri, Messi, Griezmann, and Conrad de la Fuente. Now I think this XI is very, very, very strong. Of course, Riqui Puig in midfield would be absolutely wonderful. Dropping De Jong a bit back as well. You could maybe bring in Alina for Pedri as well, but you can't drop Pedri after that great performance against Real Sociedad. I'm going with Conrad on the left wing simply because we need natural wingers. I don't want to see Coutinho. I don't want to see Braithwaite. Well, Braithwaite is, he is kind of a winger, but Conrad de la Fuente, youth product, straight down the left wing. He is a left winger. Conrad has been in a lot of my XIs, and it's sad that I haven't seen him play yet, but I think Conrad down that left wing deserves a chance. If you don't want to start him, that's fine, but at least give him a chance ahead of Trincao. Like, Trincao has been giving chances left, right, and center and hasn't been performing. I'm praying that Conrad makes an appearance in this match. I think he would be fantastic. Like we said before, Valencia in that 4-4-2, they're going to sit back a lot. We're going to need natural width. Defense stays the exact same. Jordi Alba man the match performance. Dest is no one else. Miguel Araujo partnership. Do not break that. It was superb. Obviously, there's the best goalkeeper in the world in net. I think there is debate for the midfield and the forward positions. I would bring in Riqui Puig. Obviously, Koeman won't because Koeman is very stubborn and has some beef with Riqui Puig. But imagine that midfield. Imagine the De Jong, Riqui Puig, Pedri midfield. Oh my God. You want to know what's even better than that? Maybe De Jong, Riqui Puig, and that Liga midfield. Whoa. Whoa. And people, and we're still rumored to Genie Wijnaldum. It's like, our midfield is stacked. It is so, so good. And there's some players that we haven't even predicted. I haven't even spoken about Mateus Fernandes. He can't even get a look in. I think his only appearance was like that 10 minutes against Dynamo Kiev. So he's probably going to get loaned out at some point. But this is the midfield I would go with. I think this is a very, very strong midfield. Obviously, Valencia are a very, very young team. They're going to be really quick. I feel like maybe Busquets would be a bit slow for the match. Although if he starts him, I'll have no complaint as long as it's in the lone CDM position. But this is my line that I would go with. Let me know what you would go with down in the comments below. And of course, let me know if you would rather my lineup or Koeman's lineup to start the match. Score prediction time. Time to predict the score for this game. I think it's going to be a very, very low scoring game. Usually against Valencia, we don't really score that many goals. And they don't score that many goals against us either. Although we did have that one game where we beat them 7-0 or whatever it was under when Gary Neville was the manager. Don't see that happening tomorrow, of course. I'm going to go with Barcelona winning this game by 2-0. I think keeping a clean sheet in this match would do absolute wonders for the defense and the confidence of the defense. Will we get it? I don't know. I think maybe 2-1 is a bit more realistic, just like the Real Sociedad result. I'm confident in my defense. I'll go with 2-0. I think if Koeman can stick with that 4-3 system, keep the intensity, keep the attacking play exactly that the first half against Real Sociedad, we will have no problem against Valencia. It depends on what Barcelona shows up at the end of the day. So I'm going to go with 2-0 as my score prediction. Let me know your score predictions down in the comments below. So that's my match preview for Barcelona versus Valencia. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Again, let me know your comments down below. Let me know your score predictions, your lineups that you would pick. And of course, would you pick my lineup or Koeman's lineup? And of course, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the live watch along for the Valencia game. It's going to be an early kickoff. But if I can wake up for 5 a.m. Spanish Super Cup draw, I can easily wake up for a 10 a.m. kickoff. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. It'll obviously be followed up by my match review. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and Forza Barca.